Cheers.
Uthando liyabekezela. Lunomusa. Manyala manje ngikwenzayo la. Ingane encane. Wena ubaba kanye
Ngeke. Hayi. Yini into ethayo?
Yini ngempela yenza uthekele ukungithanda.
Ngicela ungivumele ngikubone ngendlela efanele ngenze indoda yamadoda enongijabulisa.
Sheshake. That's my husband. Yeah? That's my husband. Thina abanye safela ngaphakathi. Ukuze wena uhlale phela esiqongweni sakho njengomedem waleli khaya.
Hayi makhashi uyathanda manje. Umosha vibe.
Ngithuswe noma yini. I want a white wedding.
Oh.
Bengicabanga ukuthi mina nawe siwumndeni. Okwami, okwakho, okwami. Awulala ngendlini izolo.
Oh bakithi seziyaqala ke manje.
Jala!
Asila bayohle kumacashelane. Namaqondana ngithi.
Ayibo, ngeke sidlala amacashelana.
Lo muntu uyangithanda, uyangihlonipha. Mina kumele umuntu ngise eThekwini for i-vacation.
Uyazi ukuthi kule menu le khona okuningi okudliwayo okudliwa lamabheka.
Propaganda I'm not falling for in 2026 is being a girl's girl. I personally don't believe that this is a concept that exists outside of social media. And the clip I just showed you is exactly what I want to talk about today. Netflix's show The Polygamist has reminded me of why I stand on this 10 toes down. Johnny C. Gomorrah and his 3 wives, Joyce, Matipa and Essie, were all in competition with each other and were doing whatever it took to be picked by him. I think this is a great show of why women's empowerment will never be actualized. The 3 wives hated each other, they were intimidated by each other. And when they found out about each other, they were still loyal to the man that created all of this chaos. When we log out of TikTok, put our phones down and enter the real world, the behaviors the wives showed on the show are behaviors that are mirrored in everyday life. I'm sure you've been the new girl in the office. You like to get your hair done, make sure that you look put together, and that has intimidated the other women in the office, and you start to see more of them putting a bit more effort in. And I think it's about time that we had a discussion about how women are publicly stoned or villainized when they display behaviors that don't actually conform to the idea of a girl's girl. When at one point in our life, we have experienced or exhibited the same traits. Don't hate me, y'all. Let's get into this. And just a disclaimer for the people, because I know someone's going to comment on this. This is my shade before the heat waves in the UK. I have tanned significantly, okay? And my makeup has not adjusted to that, so let's keep it cute in the comments, okay?
So, like, what does a girl's girl mean to everybody else? Because when I say, like, you know, like, I'm a girl's girl, like, I more so mean, like, you know, I look out for the girl. Like, if I'm out in public and I see a stranger and she has a nip slip or something, I'd be like, girl, fix your shirt. Or a girl be like, anybody got a tampon? I do. Here you go, babes. Like, or a girl might be like, you know, where'd you get that shirt from? Like, I'll tell her. Like, you know, just kind of looking out for the girls. Like, I'm not going to mess with your man. Like, that's also being a girl's girl. Like, I, you know, look out for the girls, kind of have, like, the girls' best interest in mind to a certain extent, you know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. But I've heard some people say, like, you know, I'm just straight up not a girl's girl. Like, don't call me a girl's girl. I'm not a girl's girl. Like, okay, like, why not? Or it'd be like, I'm not a girl's girl because I have a lot of female friends. Okay. Or, you know, I've heard TikTokers say, like, you know, girls are only girls when the girl isn't as cute as them. So I just feel like everybody's definition might be different from mine. Because I feel like if the definition is my definition, then I also kind of feel like, why wouldn't you want to be a girl's girl? Because I feel like women kind of just understand each other. Like, it's kind of like unspoken. You know, we just kind of understand to a certain extent. Again, all this is like to a certain extent. Like, we kind of just understand each other. Just like how moms understand moms, dads understand dads. Like, that kind of thing. So it's just kind of like, why wouldn't you want to be a girl's girl? Or what is your definition of a girl's girl? And how does that play into if you are a girl's girl or if you're not a girl's girl? I don't know. Let me know.
So there's been a cultural shift in society where women are now choosing to descend to men. We're seeing this in the statistics. This is not just me saying this out of my mouth. Women are choosing to get married later. They are prioritizing their careers and deciding against having children or having children at a later stage. The phrase girls girl became a major online trend, and this was kind of a result of pushback against women who were competing for male validation or trying to be picked by men. If you guys know the term pick me, this was kind of in retaliation to that term. When I was researching this video, I kind of thought that the girls girl was a term for pushback against patriarchy and the societal standards, but I feel like it's way simpler than that. And I think the term girls girl simply just means solidarity between women, where they're providing a safe space for each other, they're genuinely supporting each other as well, or not competing for male validation or to be chosen by a man. Now, the concept of a girls girl is really sweet and everything, but in the real world, it's every man for themselves.
One thing I always found super interesting is that women act like they all just like love each other and they all hate men and shit like that. But gang, real life shit, like I feel like all that hate man shit is just all an act for the internet. Cause in real life, a lot of the women I've talked to, and I'm talking about race just does not matter, my nigga. Black, white, Latina, fucking Asian, anything. A lot of the women I've talked to have always complained about shit that they friends do, have always complained about a bitch doing something to them, have always been like, oh, she's not that cute, she's not that this. Motherfuckers doing the hate, following the hate men shit because it's trendy right now. When a girl get behind them closed doors with a person they really fuck with, they start telling the real. Then it's not only men saying the shit. I done heard girls call other girls whores. I done heard girls call other girls sluts. I done heard girls call other girls all type of shit that y'all claim that only men be saying about girls. Other girls then tried to talk about me for talking to a heavier woman before. Being any woman's love interest, you're always gonna hear the gossip. My favorite one that I always hear is, I'm a girl's girl, but such and such. Always about another girl. And I enjoy hearing the gossip. I ain't gonna lie, like shit, the shit be funny to me. I really don't be giving that much of a fuck. But it's just the fact that I be seeing so much of this hate men and like we women are so united shit on TikTok. Bro, y'all are not as united as you think.
I mean, he didn't lie. Being a girl's girl is definitely a public display of loyalty to other women. The key word being public. And it has no roots in how women treat each other privately, especially when a man is involved. I know you know that one person who, whenever there was a male audience, they would start to act up and start to make weird comments, whether that was towards you, towards another woman. You know they're only doing this because there's men around. Just like, girl, I know you're about to act up because the guys are here. It's okay. Like, it's okay.
Y'all ever had a friend and y'all was kicking it and it seemed like every time when y'all kicking around dudes, that girl be like, try to make it seem like you lame or something? Like, try to make a joke about you, try to make you the joke of the conversation and be like, oh, girl, I'm just playing. She's a hater, okay? She ain't playing. She's telling you how she really feel, but she's saying it with a joke. Oh, I'm just kidding. And remember, behind every joke is the truth. That's how she really feel. And if she's switching up like that because y'all around a man, imagine what else she'll do.
It happens all the time where you're in real life situations and this girls act collapses in real time. And it's got you thinking, what the hell did I do? Like, damn. Like, but a lot of girls don't have that same mentality. A lot of girls see other girls as competition, and a lot of girls love man. Like, some girls just love man. Which is why I feel like the girls act is conditional, especially when a man is involved. If you're on social media, I know you've heard or seen the messy situation that happened between rapper G Herbo, his ex and baby mama Ariana, and his now fiance Taina. Ari and G Herbo were in a public relationship, and shortly after giving birth, he ended up cheating on her with Taina.
I know everybody thinks that I was like a homewrecker. Well, everybody thinks I was his side piece while you was pregnant and all of that, and like that was not the case. And I'm so serious, that was never the case.
So do you feel like that you were wrong?
Yes.
Like you feel like that you was wrong and you still played a part?
Yes, I played a part. I hold accountability because I'm older now and I have children. And I know like how a man can lie. Like, I don't know what he be doing after I have my kids and what he be saying to people. Like, oh, we ain't together, oh, like, please. So, yes, I was very gullible. And I feel like, now I feel your pain.
I wanted to include that clip because I feel like this is a situation that I personally found myself in as well, when a guy was manipulating my view on a particular woman and I was also gullible and taking in what he had said. I don't know if you guys remember the come to me as a woman trend, but that is a real thing. And I don't know about you, but I've been in a situation where I've tried to come to somebody as a woman, and instead of them taking me in, I was dismissed and basically told to go in hell. For me, I found that situation very hurtful, especially because I was coming from a genuine place. I wasn't trying to do it to be malicious. I was just trying to give someone else a heads up, because at that time I considered myself a girl's girl, but the way that I was dismissed, that was literally when I decided, yeah, it's a wrap. Like, I'm not doing this again.
I'm at a place in my life where it's like, don't come to me as a woman. Coming to me as a woman is going to get you dissed out. Don't come to me as a woman, please. Because coming to me as a woman, I feel like, what are we supposed to do? Make friends over this? Like, or don't come to me as a woman. Like, girlies, let me know. Would you feel comfortable with a girl coming to you as a woman? Or would you just rather not? I don't know. Let me know.
I don't think it's about making friends when someone comes to you as a woman. I think it's about taking the information for what it is and then doing your own investigation. I feel like this was also a perfect example of women failing other women. A lot of women project their anger onto other women and choose to turn a blind eye to what their man is doing, which directly contradicts the girl's performance online. There's a multitude of reasons of why I think this may happen, but the two that just come to the top of my head is because I think a lot of women see other women as competition, especially if the guy is someone of some sort of value. I mean, a lot of women have stayed for less, if I'm being completely honest, but there's some sort of attachment to this person that they are not yet willing to give up. But then I also think it comes down to a lot of women having internalized misogynistic views, which leads them to view other women critically or negatively. Patriarchal structures have historically forced women to compete with each other for limited resources, limited attention, and we saw that with the generations before us. Granddad was a Rolling Stone. We all know that phrase. Because of the fact that a woman was not working, she wasn't the breadwinner, she has to rely on this man, she would stay in these relationships. And I think a lot of that has still trickled down into the generation that we're in. I think a lot of women are coming away from that, but we still have more women than not that are in this sort of mind frame. As much as people say online that they're going to leave and they're not tolerating what a man is giving to them, a lot of people do end up staying. A lot of people do end up suffering in these relationships. And the women being publicly stoned for saying are just the ones whose private decisions ended up online. If you guys have noticed, if there's been a public mess that's been created between a man and a woman, the heat is given more so to the woman as opposed to the man, especially when it's been some sort of cheating scandal. And the reason why I think that is because we expect the man to cheat, so when he does cheat, the public scrutiny goes towards the woman, because it's like, okay, so what are you going to do? You now have the agency. What are you going to do about it? You're going to leave. The ball is now in your court. And I think a lot of women who are online or in the comments are people who are talking on situations that, one, they've either been in themselves privately, or two, haven't actually experienced that as well. But we see this all the time as well, where women come online after they had been through a breakup and they then start exposing the things in which they went through in that relationship that makes the relationship seem so toxic and so horrible. And it's like, why did you stay in that? I guess it's this sort of perception of trying to make everything look as if it was okay, and maybe that person just wasn't ready to let that relationship go.
What can I do to become more feminine? I've been watching TikToks, but I don't think they work. I feel like I've come to the conclusion that I need to embrace my lady feminine era. I feel like the bad beat aesthetic, it isn't what you lot said it was. And the truth be told, baddies don't get the good guys. Baddies get the rappers and the trappers. And I want a solid king. Well, I've already got one, but I want him to look at me like, this is a trophy wife. Not like, she's gonna spend more money. Like, I don't want that. I want him to actually start looking at me like, yeah. I feel like I need to demonstrate a few things, 1-2s. Not too much now, but I just need to like demonstrate and show him like, this could be it if you want it. But I just need to like show it. And anyways, yes, I really want to step into my feminine energy. Back to the situation of how it happened. We were walking back from lunch, going back to his place, and I was in the sun, and I was like, babe, look how my skin glistens in the sun. And he looked at me and he was like, ugh, it's dirty. And then only when I lashed out, he was like, it was a joke. And he was crying. He called all my family members saying it was a joke. And because Logan gives off this golden retriever energy, like no one would ever believe that he would ever say it maliciously. But you guys know I have dark humor.
So I know when something's a joke and when something's being said seriously and then span into, oh, it's a joke.
We saw that when it came to Joyce in The Polygamist, where she was a social media influencer and she was trying to make it seem as though she had this happy marriage when there was so much chaos. And I think she became attached to the idea or the visual of what the relationship represented for her as opposed to the relationship itself. And I think a lot of women find themselves in that situation. Before you guys go online and start dragging women and start tearing them down, I want you guys to ask yourself, have you ever been in a situation where you have stayed in something that wasn't serving you or that wasn't healthy to you? Have you ever stayed in a situation or turned a blind eye to what your partner was doing, all for the sake of staying in within the relationship? Because a lot of people have. It's not just the people that you see online. I didn't want to make this video to excuse harmful behaviors that women have displayed online, but I wanted to make this video to highlight that this is something that we've all experienced or participated at some point in our lives. At one point, we've all been one of the 3 wives in The Polygamist. What about that last girl, Lindani, the side chick? Even her, we've all at one point been or seen a lot of ourselves in some of the characters in the show. And I think that's a canon event every woman has to go through, especially when she is attracted to men. I can't speak on the lesbian community. I'm not part of that. I have no clue what goes on there, but I'm sure there's also been the same type of dynamics, especially when you're dealing with some of these stud women. Social media creates a moral high ground that real life just doesn't support. We've seen this in a lot of think pieces. I think people get a kick out of making think pieces, get a kick out of trying to seem more intellectual and try to seem like, oh, I wouldn't do that, when we've all found ourselves in those positions at one point or another in our life. And if you haven't, it's a rite of passage, I'm not gonna lie to you. The loudest voices that are performing solidarity have never actually had to demonstrate this when it's actually cost them something, where it may have cost them a relationship, respect, access, something in which that they feel like is valuable to them. A lot of people have not conformed to this girls girl act. If you've never stayed in a toxic relationship, you've never looked the other way, or you've never self-abandoned yourself just to stay with a man, please be my guest and you can throw the first stone. That is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will definitely love and leave you and see you in my next one. Bye.